Hi everybody, we're here today with Drake Milligan, Over Drinking, Under Thinking from his EP. We're not going to do the song that he did in America's Got Talent because it's been overreacted. A lot of people have reacted to it, but I wanted to give him justice, Drake Milligan, because I heard him on AGT that he had an EP. And the EP, this is the first track from it, and it's one of a couple of tracks, and it's just called Drake Milligan EP. And I'm looking forward to giving you my interpretation of the lyrics, and let's see what develops. But for those who don't realize whom this young man is, Drake Milligan was dubbed the new Elvis of country after rocking the AGT audition. You need to see it. It's absolutely brilliant. I have to commend him. Drake Milligan took to the stage of the Americans Got Talent last week, and the name seems familiar because it isn't the first television talent show he's been on. No, it hasn't. Milligan competed during the 16th season of American Idol, receiving a golden ticket to Hollywood and then quitting the show. He later revealed via Instagram that he decided to step back from performing to focus on his music. Now everybody, I've got Benson Boone linked to this video. Please check him out, everybody, because you might want to divert from country music and give Benson Boone a chance, because they both are parallel in that they went on American Idol, got the Hollywood Week, but stepped back and decided for their own reasons to concentrate on their music. So it gave another person a chance anyway. But I've got to say, I just thought that parallel was wow. After just downloading a Benson Boone reaction, do check that out. And don't forget to like, subscribe to my channel, press those buttony things and get going and make me grow and grow and grow, because I feature over 300 videos of artists all around the world over the last 2 years. I'm into my second year and really growing. Last year nothing was happening. This year it's really starting to take off. I've got over 600,000 views. I'm absolutely thrilled, heading towards my first million views, and yet the subscribers are small. And I'm thinking, come on everybody, if I had one subscriber for each view, can you imagine? So it's up to you, but I hope after this reaction you will join me. And 4 yeses from the judges, guaranteed. This won't be the last AGT views. We'll see if this talented country singer. No, it won't, because I, for one, am coming on board reacting to his EP, because he is a phenomenon. We needed more country and western, and he brought on his band, the musicians. And as Heidi said, we don't get so many bands and musicians on, you know, this show. And I did think about that, and I thought, wow. So fair play to them all. They all perform really well. What's he about with the voice and everything? Let's get going. I'm going to make a special thumbnail for this particular video of my own, just to, and I'm hoping it will bring more viewers to my channel. I'm hoping. But let's see what happens with your reaction to the first of his songs on his EP. Drake Milligan, take it away. And do enjoy, everybody. I hope you do.
Over drinking, under thinking, bartender pour another round. Gonna be here all night long on this Taiwan on the honky-tonk inside of town, floating down a whiskey river, drowning the troubles in our minds. Empty glasses floor to ceiling, over drinking, under thinking's all we're thinking about tonight. Bad decisions, good decisions, what's the difference really in them? Who's to say? Yeah, right or wrong, what's going on? And here's we all get along when we get this way. Over drinking, under thinking, bartender pour another round. Gonna be here all night long on this Taiwan on the honky-tonk inside of town. Empty glasses floor to ceiling, over drinking, under thinking's all we're thinking about tonight. That's right. It don't matter what they're spinning on that old jukebox. Yeah, fast or slow, don't you know, we'll keep rolling with the flow. No, we won't stop, over drinking, under thinking. Bartender, pour another round. Gonna be here all night long on this Taiwan on neon, honky-tonk inside of town, floating down the Whiskey River, drowning the troubles in our minds. Empty glasses floor to ceiling, over drinking, under thinking's all we're thinking about tonight. Empty glasses floor to ceiling, over drinking, under thinking's all we're thinking about tonight.
Brilliant. Wasn't it brilliant just the way they did that at the end? They almost made it film-like. and he's going to be a film star. He really will. This will elevate him, that appearance on America's Got Talent. And a lot of people were very angry the golden buzzer wasn't pressed. And the other week, Sarah Jane from Poland, the buzzer was pressed. But Sarah Jane is in a different category. And she's got a different type of voice. And you can't compare country with pop. You just can't. And she was singing in a second language because English isn't her first. Because at the end of the day, she's been raised in Poland. That's a national tongue that she speaks. But she flew all the way over from Poland. And she got the golden buzzer from Simon. So I think if it hadn't happened with Sarah Jane, for sure, I think Simon would have got up and hit that golden buzzer. Why Howie didn't do it, I don't know. It's almost like they balance it with hitting the golden buzzers and getting top acts for themselves. Plus, they need top acts to go through and fight it out to keep the viewers. So it is all about the viewers at the end of the day and getting the views in and getting those phone calls and all of that. But Drake Milligan is going to fight a battle that he's going to be in the final for sure. I think he will be competing against Sarah, and I just think it'll be a battle of the voices this year. So anyway, we go to the lyrics, and I'm looking forward to analysing these. It's simple enough. The video is simple enough. And he's a barman, but there he is in a world of his own, thinking about over drinking, under thinking. Bartender, pour another round. Going to be here all night long on this Taiwan on neon honky tonk inside of town, floating down a Whiskey River, drowning the troubles in our minds. Empty glasses, floor to ceiling, over drinking, under thinkings, and we're all thinking about tonight. I have to say personally that before the pandemic, there used to be a lot of those knock it back, drink yourself silly, fall on the floor. And we've all been there. We've all done it. I've done it. And I've had the best of times being drunk and not really known the following day what's happened. But then when my mind cleared up, having a good laugh at some of the things I do recall. But I never did it. I have to say, hands up, I swear, I never went into a bar to get drunk because I was depressed. I only ever got drunk when I was excitable. I'm like a child. I can get excited over the silliest of things. And my mother was always asked, did I suffer from hyperness when I was young, hyperactiveness? I mellowed when I was in my teens onwards, but before that I was always so hyper. And then it came back to me when I was drinking. My drink is vodka, and I don't really drink anymore now, I have to say, but my drink is vodka if I do partake in a drink at a function or whatever. And it only takes me 2 vodkas and I'm giggling, happy, telling jokes, doing whatever, underthinking, not thinking. And I remember being a bartender and watching people, and the 99% of people that got themselves really, really drunk, as you've seen in the video there, all going crazy, there was always an element of depression with it. And I used to find that quite sad, because when I went up and I drank, I was always happy, in a really good mood. I drank when I was happy. I never drank when I was sad. Just I'll point that out. But we all can relate to the first lyrics there. Well, it's actually the pre-chorus. So verse 1 says, bad decisions, good decisions, what's the difference really in them? Who's to say? Yeah, right or wrong, what's going on? And here is where we all get along when we get this way. It's very true. Drink talks, and I don't want to use a profanity, but the bull, I'm sure it begins with S, ends with T, you can understand, begins, and it's drink talk, as they say. And bad decisions, good decisions. You could meet somebody, pick them up, go home, have sex with them, wake up the following morning thinking, what am I doing next to this person, pulling back the blankets? Ugh. Or pulling back the blankets going, God, I was a lucky person. It really depends on everything, doesn't it? Not just a drink, karma, luck. But when it comes to getting along, we all do. And we all drink. When I see people get drunk in a bar or getting drunk, we were advised as bartenders where I worked to caution the person, say, look, are you driving? And try and get the information from them. We'll order you a taxi. You've had more than your... And we were very good to customers. And I worked in a hotel chain here in Dublin when I first came to Dublin as a barman. And I have to say, it didn't really happen, the groups, but when it did, it was always about relationship or money troubles, the two things that never go away from anybody. But when we all drink, we all get along, and that's the message of the song, because it goes into chorus, over drinking, under thinking, bartender pour another round, gonna be here all night long. I heard that a million times. On this Taiwan on neon honky tonky side of town, floating down a whiskey river, and many person did, drowning the troubles in our minds, empty glasses, floor to ceiling, over drinking, under thinking. We're all thinking about tonight. That's right. It's true. It's almost, do you know what? It's almost like a prayer to drinkers, isn't it? You start with, I'm over drinking, under thinking. You go in with that mentality. You say to the barman, pour me another, get me another, I'll have another, make that a double, because you think that'll last as long and it goes as quickly. And empty glasses. Just a stack of empty glasses, that's what you leave behind. But you don't believe, most people don't leave behind their troubles or get rid of their troubles. They've added to their troubles because they go home with hardly any money in their pockets. There can be problems because of that. And you never know what's behind a serious drinking with a person at the bar. They could have lost their partner, it could have been a child that died of cancer, there could be a million and one reasons, and that's why I never prejudge somebody getting drunk, because I have been drunk myself, but I have to thank God I've always been drunk, a happy drunk, because I went in with a happy head and I left with a very happy head. And the amount of people over the years have said, you are so funny when you're drunk. Oh my God, you could be on stage and entertain the world. I never know what I say, but apparently I'm very funny. So it's not, for me, I've never been affected by a mental problem, because I'm a great believer in empowerment of the mind and just believing karma will come around at some point and solve my problems. So I don't have that kind of situation. Now I actually don't drink, and if my partner was here, he would, next to me in the video, he would say, no, he doesn't drink. I really don't. I don't even, with him being Spanish, drinking wine at the mealtime. I don't even partake in that. I'm not a drinker by nature, but when I am, I'm a happy head. I go in with a happy head. So verse 2, A11, B11, don't matter what they're spinning on that old jukebox. Yeah, fast or slow, don't you know, we'll keep rolling with the flow. And no, we won't stop. So the dancing begins, the drinking begins. It's like a marriage, drinking, dancing and singing, it all happens. And some of the best nights as a barman has been when groups have come together and they have got drunk. Because it doesn't end up always like you see in TV series in fights. Usually everyone goes out as the best of friends, hardly with any money, and I have to say as a barman, we got fantastic tips. So we were always happy when they got drunk because that's a tip for you. That's another one. We went home rich people. I don't know why I gave up the job. I went on to boring other jobs. But then the chorus is over drinking, underthinking again. Bartender, pour another round. Going to be here all night long on this tie on one neon honky tonk side of town, floating down a whiskey river. So it's coming to an end now, folks. Drowning the troubles in our minds. Whatever was. The lights are flashing. Last round. Everybody's knocking. Everybody's giving it their all. Everyone's the best of friends, thinking who they can take home to their beds, usually, and getting dust courage to go home and break up a relationship, who knows. But they're over the drinking, under thinking, and we're all thinking about it tonight. Empty glasses, floor to ceiling, over drinking, under thinking, and we're all thinking about tonight. Everybody does. And that's it. So good night, everybody. Thanks for listening to Drake Milligan, track 1 of his EP. Do check it out on YouTube. Lots of videos coming up now since his appearance on American Got Talent. We'll be keeping a close eye on you, Drake. And attached to this video is a person with a similar story to his that I told you in the beginning, called Benson Boone. They both went away, Drake and Benson, from the Hollywood Week, and they decided, that isn't for us, I need to concentrate on my music. And in both cases, they're sensational. You'll love Benson Boone's pop lyrics. He's just phenomenal, and it's a great ballad. So take care for now. Please like, comment, subscribe. Bye, everybody. And this video is in over 16 languages, as all my videos are. So take care for now. Enjoy Drake Milligan on America's Got Talent.